All right, George. Now we're going to talk about the other team that the Celtics face in the playoffs. Another one of them, at least. The Pacers. How did you feel about their offseason? A little bit kind of like the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
They didn't really move too much. How do you feel about their upcoming season?
Lost Jalen Smith, added James Wiseman at that 5 spot, which is like a backup, maybe third-string center. We'll see how he's used. Big for them to re-sign Pascal Siakam after trading for him at the deadline. Like, make sure you keep him in-house.
Yep.
The Obi Toppin extension was a little rich for my taste, but that's a guy that was a true and key contributor for them. And shout out to Rick Carlisle, like getting so much more out of Obi than we ever saw when he was in New York. So playing to his strengths in a very fast-paced offense led by Nembhard and Tyrese Haliburton. But same thing, you need elite wings. They don't have it. I think this team takes a step back. And it's that bad taste I have that Tyrese Haliburton left in my mouth after last year's playoffs.
Step back.
We saw what he did for the Celtics, or against the Celtics, excuse me. Like in game 1 alone, tied game, 6 seconds left. You're going across the court to the opposite wing to hit a fadeaway jumper. And then Drew Holiday, all he has to do is look at you, and he's forcing turnovers. We just saw such a mental meltdown from their best player, and I need more from Haliburton. The hype is there. But when you watch him in these key moments, and those are the guys that are difference makers, Hallie is not that for the Pacers.
Dude, you're giving me PTSD right now as a point guard watching those games in this office. And don't get me wrong. Obviously, we are Celtics podcast. I was rooting for the Celtics to win those games. I wanted to see them, be successful. Yeah. But I am a fan of good basketball over anything else. And to see an all-star level point guard dribbling the ball off of his foot with his left hand because Drew Holiday looked at him the wrong way. Really ticked me off, George. So don't get me started right now on how much I hated to see that from Tyrese Haliburton. I think he's a good player. Maybe a smidge overrated. I will say that, and those Pacer fans are going to hate me in the comments for saying that. I'm going to ask the question, is it him or is it Carlisle? You know what I'm saying? Is he really that good of a system by himself like Luka, like we've seen Harden be in the past? I don't think so. I think it's Rick. You know what I'm saying? Once again, Tyrese, amazing player. Way better player than I've ever been. Super talented. But I have to ask you this question. Can he be a number 1 guy on a championship team?
No. And I saw it in the playoffs last year. Unless I see like a ridiculous jump. And the same thing of him being the main ball handler. Like, he has the ball in his hands way too much in too many key moments where they'll run an offense through him for him to have those mental lapses and mistakes. And if the lights get too bright for you, you can't be the number 1. Now, he's still young. Like, he can completely change my outlook
100%.
by stringing it together this season and this playoff run. But also to get into it, Ountae, what did all the teams in the East do? They didn't load up on point guards.
No.
The Sixers went out and got PG when they have Tyrese Maxey. The Knicks re-signed OG. They got Mikal Bridges. Wings, elite wing defenders, while they have Jalen Brunson. The Celtics have the Jays. And they got Drew. It's all about having your wings. What did the Magic do? You got Paolo. They went out and got KCP, a bigger wing. I know KCP is more of a 2, but a big wing, a guy that can defend out there. It's all about those athletic wings that create mismatches 1 through 5 on them. And Tyrese Haliburton isn't that guy. He can't be the one. And the skill set is there, but you say it, him playing under Rick Carlisle, the same thing when he was in Sacramento. It was a great system where let's run up and down. Let's get fast. Let's put up shots. Let's go. But when you play tight basketball, and by tight, I mean it gets into the playoffs. Every possession matters at the end of a game. I don't trust Tyrese Haliburton. He can't be a number 1 on a team.
I'm with you. I want to circle back to how you think the Pacers are going to get worse. I personally think they're going to get a little bit better. Right? And here's my reasoning for that. They were 6th in the East last year, but they have Tyrese, hopefully a fully healthy season, right? Hopefully, because we know he dealt with the hamstring injury last year, took him out of the playoff series against the Celtics after he, had those blunders that we spoke about early on in that series. They'll have Ben Mathurin hopefully back as well.
Good call, Mathurin.
I've been seeing, his workout videos, and I never get overhyped by them. I always thought he was a great offensive player. But he was already starting to turn the page like how we saw Jalen Green turn the page last year for the Houston Rockets. We saw Ben Mathurin start to turn the page and figure out, like, okay, I know how to score in this league now. He's a guy who's athletic as heck. He reminds me a lot of a guard, smaller package version of a Paul George. You know what I'm saying? Where he's really plays at his pace, can super athletic, can get to where he wants to do, long arms, can defend, can slide his feet. We'll see if he wants to do it, but I know he's capable. I've seen him do it at Arizona. I've seen him do it early on with the Pacers. I
love Mathurin coming out of U of A, bro.
Man,
him.
He was great. You know, Aaron Nesmith, you know, is a great player for them as well. So when you look at like what they have coming back, and yeah, it's the same team, but I think adding Wiseman in there, we'll see if Carlisle can get something out of him. We'll see what kind of minutes he gets. I have no idea what their plan is for him because Isaiah Jackson did play a lot of good minutes for them down the stretch last year, especially when Miles Turner missed time. He really showed out. James Wiseman hasn't really given us those flashes in the NBA, but I think they do need a lot of size when they have a lot of undersized 6'8" with Obi Toppin, 6'8" with Pascal Siakam. You know, Miles Turner's a tall big, but not a physical one. Yeah. If James Wiseman can be a physical big for them, he might be able to help them out and win a couple more games. I think, like you said, the Cavaliers probably take a little bit of a dip, because there's going to be those questions after the first 30 games when they're not winning as much as they should. I think while they take that dip, the Pacers will succeed and end up overcoming them. I think they're going to rise to about the 5 seed.
So that's one spot better. But I agree with that. It's like a marriage of the Cavs and the Pacers. If the Cavs get better,
yes,
I think the Pacers fall back and they could be a playing team.
Yes.
Both of those squads I see as a 6 seed. The one thing I look at, and you bring up like Aaron Nesmith too, like Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, Tyrese Haliburton, a lot of guards that are a lot of buckets. Like they can score. But
and
it's
even
winning
TJ,
basketball.
Like TJ,
and TJ McConnell.
TJ will take you. Like if you don't respect him, he'll score. He'll put that ball in the hole. No question about that.
He would piss you off so much if you're playing against him.
Yeah.
It's again if I just look at the rest of the East, and that's why I say this team gets worse from a standing standpoint.
Yes.
Because someone like Orlando got better. The Cavaliers, they're the biggest wild card. But like those teams took a step forward. And meanwhile, I mean, again, let's see what we get from Joel Embiid. While the Pacers stayed the same, they ran back a lot of good talent, and they can catch teams in the postseason because of their style of play and how up and down they go up the court. If they faced a healthy Knicks team, they don't beat the New York Knicks. So Tom Thibodeau has to not run his squad into the ground. We would have gotten the Knicks Celtics.
Carlisle coached them too. Carlisle,
he's a good coach. No, he is. But again, like how healthy was that Knicks team? I would take Carlisle over Tibbs.
I'm with you. I remember.
Cool.
I don't forget.
I'll take Carlisle over Tibbs.
Yeah.
For a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
But I would take that Knicks roster over this Pacers roster. You feel me?
100%.
Can we do that? Can we trade? Can we do straight up Tibbs for Carlisle and send some cash to Indiana?
We need to.
I don't claim the Knicks, but I just love Jalen Brunson, bro. My sister lives in the city. She goes to Knicks games, so I put on for her that I know she wants to see good basketball. I want to see the Knicks have success. This isn't a Knicks episode.
Forget the Knicks, all right? Hey, last question, George. What bets do you like from this Indiana Pacers team?
As you go with the Cavaliers and you look game to game to go on overs, I'm going to look with the Pacers, and game by game, I will bet overs on either the team total or the game total.
Okay.
Because they can put up 95 on anybody, but they'll give up 98 on the other end.
100%.
If you see it even around 182, over. 185, over. 190, I might go over depending on who they're playing that night. I'm just going to look night to night. What is the total in these games? And you're not going to see much of that. You'll see 205. You'll see a 210, a 220. Like that's the NBA.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you see, and watch for the trends, like let it settle. When it comes to December and it picks up, I'm going to be going over on the Pacers a lot.
Okay. That's fair. You know me. I'm not a betting man. I don't like any bets for this team. I'm staying away from them.
Right.
I don't like the unknown.
Sometimes that's the best bet, bro.
Yeah. If there were one that I could throw out from what I've seen, and this is how high I am on this player, and I have no idea what the odds are, no idea what the numbers are, Ben Mathurin, 6th man of the year.
Cool. I like that future play. That's smart.
Yep.
So just looking at their totals last season, I mean, eventually the books caught on. But like a 207 total against the Knicks, that went over. 240 against Philly. This is early in the year. Let me get you February. 227. I would take the over in that one. And they hit it against the Heat like that. I was opening 180, 190. I need to get my pressure on the NBA bets. I'm thinking too much NFL right now.
Yeah.
If you see something in the 220s, go over on the Pacers. They can't stop anybody, but they can answer with a lot of buckets.
100%.